Tonight's story is one of the wildest explosions of drama in the Blueface, Chrisean, Jaden triangle, and trust me, you've never seen the tension get this personal. What started as a small disagreement behind closed doors turned into a full-blown family meltdown after Blueface's mom decided to step in and put Chrisean in her place. But instead of settling things, her comments lit the fuse on a bomb that was already ticking. Sources close to the situation say Chrisean snapped the moment she felt disrespected, and what happened next left the entire room in shock. Blueface's mom didn't back down, and Chrisean wasn't about to walk away. Within seconds, voices got louder, accusations started flying, and the energy flipped into something nobody could control. But the real shocker? Just when the fight seemed to cool off, Jaden stepped into the picture, and that turned the whole situation upside down. Because according to multiple eyewitnesses, Jaidyn didn't just defend Blueface's mom, she went straight for Chrisean, leaving people saying she actually knocked her out. This story is messy, loud, emotional, and we're breaking down every detail. From the outside looking in, people like to act surprised when chaos erupts between Chrisean, Blueface, Jaden, and even Blueface's own family. But anyone who has followed this entire saga knows the tension between everyone has been bubbling for years. What happened during this explosive moment wasn't just a random fight, it was the result of months and months of disrespect, jealousy, hurt feelings, and unresolved drama that nobody ever actually fixed. And part 1 is all about where that tension really started simmering. Let's rewind for a second. Because long before fists started flying, the energy in Blueface's circle had become toxic. Every single person involved felt like they were the one being disrespected, they were the one being mistreated, and they were the one whose voice wasn't being heard. Blueface's mom, Carlisa, has openly said many times that she doesn't like the way Chrisean behaves or the influence she has on her son. She's called her out online, thrown shade in interviews, and even indirectly suggested that Chrisean ruined her son's life. That's not small energy, that's personal. And Chrisean? She's the type who responds with her chest. She's never been the one to bite her tongue, especially when she feels attacked. From her perspective, she saw Carlisa as someone who constantly inserted herself into business that didn't involve her. Chrisean has said before that Blueface's family never accepted her, never respected her, and never gave her a fair chance. She felt like they saw her as an outsider, someone they tolerated but never wanted around. So naturally, anytime Blueface's mom said anything, Chrisean took it as a direct shot. Now let's add Jaden into this messy equation. Because you cannot talk about this story without mentioning the woman who has been with Blueface through multiple chapters of his life. Jaden has always felt like Escalates was the one who stayed loyal, who understood him, who held down the household, and who raised his kids. From her point of view, Chrisean came into the picture and disrupted the entire structure she built. And even though Jaden and Blueface have had their own rocky, emotional, sometimes painful relationship, she has always seen herself as the original, the one with history. And trust me, Blueface's mom sees Jaden the same way. She loves Jaden, she respects her, and she always believed Jaden was right for her son, so you can already imagine the bias that was building up behind the scenes. Now here's where things get interesting. Recently, the tension between Chrisean and Jaden had started to heat up again online. Subtle messages, shady posts, indirect comments, all of it was putting pressure on the situation until everyone was already on edge. So when Blueface's mom stepped into the same room as Chrisean that day, the vibe was already heavy. No smiles, no warmth, no attempt to talk it out, just cold energy. People in the room say the first sign of trouble was the attitude. Blueface's mom allegedly walked in with an energy that said, "I'm not here to play with you." Meanwhile, Chrisean was sitting there calm but not passive. She noticed every side eye, every whisper, every sarcastic tone. What's worse is that Blueface wasn't there to mediate, and when he's not around, those two have no filter. The conversation started off about something small, something simple like scheduling, the baby, or Blueface's recent drama. But tone is everything, and the tone shifted fast. Carlisa reportedly made a comment that Chrisean felt was condescending, maybe something like, "You need to learn how to act right," or "you always doing too much." Whether she meant it or not, Chrisean took it as disrespect. And once Chrisean feels disrespected, you already know what comes next. Observers say Chrisean stood up, took a step forward, and told her she wasn't going to be spoken to like a kid. Blueface mom clapped back instantly, and the volume doubled. No one backed down. No one softened their voice. The tension just kept climbing until the room felt like it was about to explode. The problem is, both of them have a history of airing out their true feelings during heated moments. Blueface mom allegedly brought up old issues, old arguments, and old comments Chrisean made online. Chrisean fired back with her own accusations, including the claim that his mom never wanted her around from day one. By this point, everyone in the room felt the shift. What started as a disagreement became a personal confrontation. And the scary part? Neither one of them was willing to walk away. When people say it escalated out of nowhere, they're usually exaggerating. But in this situation, the room went from tense to explosive in seconds. Multiple sources who were physically present said you could feel the temperature shift, like everybody suddenly realized they were standing in the middle of a storm that was about to break. Here's exactly how it happened. As part 1 ended, Chrisean and Blueface mom were already toe-to-toe, raising their voices, going back and forth with things that should have never been said out loud. The argument wasn't one-sided. Both of them were throwing heat. But the moment everything truly flipped was when Carlisa brought up the one subject she knew would trigger Chrisean instantly, her motherhood. According to insiders, Blueface mom said something along the lines of, "You don't even know how to raise your own kid, you need guidance." And those words hit Chrisean like gasoline on open flame. She has always been sensitive and defensive when it comes to her baby, and anyone who follows her online knows that nothing sets her off more than people questioning her ability to be a mother. The entire room froze. People say Chrisean stopped mid-sentence, stepped back, and stared straight at Blueface mom with this cold, shocked expression, like she couldn't believe she heard that. Then her voice dropped. It wasn't loud anymore. It was low, shaky, and dangerous. She said something like, "Don't you ever talk about my son." And that was the exact second everyone knew things were about to go left. But instead of cooling things down, Blueface mom doubled down. She rolled her eyes, waved her hand, and said something else dismissive, reportedly accusing Chrisean of being reckless, messy, and not stable enough to raise a child. That was it. That was the switch. The moment where Chrisean went from heated to done. A witness says Chrisean took 2 fast steps forward, closing the space between them. She wasn't swinging yet, but her entire body language screamed confrontation. People jumped in between, trying to separate them, but Carlisa wasn't backing up either. She kept talking, kept pushing the issue, kept touching sensitive topics Chrisean already carries deep hurt about. Then came the breaking point, the one disrespect nobody expected. Someone in the room claims Blueface mom made a snide comment comparing Chrisean to Jaidyn, implying Jaidyn was the real woman of the house and that she knew how to carry herself better. And let's be honest, nobody in their right mind says that to Chrisean unless they want to fight. Chrisean lunged. Not the playful, wild kind of lunge people sometimes see on live streams. This was a full, committed, you crossed the line kind of move. The room exploded into chaos. People yelled, furniture shifted, and everyone scrambled to hold Chrisean back as she reached for Blueface mom. Hands were grabbing shoulders, pulling arms, trying to stop her from getting close enough to actually land something. But here's the twist most people don't know yet. Chrisean did get close enough. Reports say she managed to break through the hands holding her back for a split second, and that's when she shoved Blueface mom hard. Not a playful push, a real, emotional, angry shove fueled by months of resentment. Blueface mom stumbled back, shocked, and that's when screams started filling the room. It was officially physical. There was no coming back from that moment. People rushed forward. Some were trying to separate them, others were trying to calm Carlisa down, and a few were even yelling at Chrisean to get out. But Chrisean was too far gone. She was yelling, crying, cursing, demanding respect, demanding boundaries. She kept saying things like, "You always play with me, and you've been disrespecting me from the start." And while all this was happening, something else was brewing just outside the door. Because the second Blueface's mom started screaming for Jaden, the second her voice cracked with shock and anger, Jaden rushed into the scene with the energy of someone who had been ready for this moment. To her, this wasn't just drama, this was a threat to someone she loves. The moment Blueface's mom screamed out, everything changed. Up until that point, the fight was between Chrisean and Carlisa, an explosion everyone saw coming, but still hoped would cool off before things got completely out of control. But the second Jaden heard her name being yelled in that panicked tone, it was over. Anyone who knows Jaden knows this. If she thinks someone is threatening her family, she doesn't walk, she runs. People in the house said they heard her footsteps before they saw her. Heavy, fast, angry. One person said it felt like someone charging into battle. The door flew open so hard it hit the wall, and Jaidyn stormed into the room with her fists clenched and her jaw tight. She didn't even ask what happened. She didn't look around for explanations. The first thing she saw was Chrisean being held back, while Blueface's mom was screaming and stumbling, still shocked from the shove. And that was all Jaidyn needed. In her mind, she saw one thing. Chrisean put her hands on family. Jaidyn's voice cut through the chaos, loud, sharp, furious. Witnesses say she yelled something like, "Oh hell no. You not touching his mama." And the second Chrisean heard Jaidyn's voice, she turned her head with this wild, emotional mix of anger and adrenaline. She was already in fight mode, already triggered, and the last person she wanted to see entering the room at that moment was Jaidyn, the one woman she's been battling for years. Chrisean snapped, "What you gonna do?" And Jaidyn didn't waste a second. She stepped forward so fast that the people trying to stop the fight got pushed aside. The room was small, and there were too many bodies, too much noise, too much emotion. People were yelling, "Stop. Chill. Not like this." But neither woman could hear anything anymore. The only thing they saw was each other. Blueface's mom was crying and begging Jaidyn to get Chrisean out of the house. Meanwhile, Chrisean was still shouting about disrespect, claiming nobody in that family had ever treated her right. It was two storms colliding, one fighting out of protection, the other fighting out of pain. Then it happened. Witnesses say Jaidyn swung first. It wasn't a soft hit or a warning tap. It was a real swing, fast, clean, and full of emotion. People say the punch connected with Chrisean's cheek, snapping her head to the side. The room gasped. A few people jumped between them immediately, but Chrisean stumbled backward, stunned, not expecting Jaidyn to hit her that hard. Some claim Chrisean tried to swing back, but her balance was off from being pulled in different directions. Others say she slipped, her foot catching on the edge of a bag or the corner of the couch. Whatever the cause, the outcome was the same. Chrisean went down. Not knocked out cold like in a boxing match, but definitely hit hard enough that she couldn't get up right away. Witnesses say her eyes went unfocused for a second, and she sat there on the floor with this dazed, furious expression. Jaidyn, on the other hand, had to be held back by two people. She was yelling, shaking, trying to push past everyone, screaming, "She touched his mama. She touched his mama." Blueface's mom was crying and shaking, yelling that she never wanted Chrisean in her house again. The entire place was chaos, people yelling for someone to call Blueface, others shouting for Chrisean to get up, and a few trying to drag Jaidyn out of the room before she somehow broke free and launched herself at Chrisean again. But here's the part people aren't talking about yet. Someone in that room was recording. Not the whole fight, but enough of it. A few seconds of shouting. A glimpse of the swing. The moment Chrisean hit the floor. And according to sources, that short clip has already started circulating in private group chats and DM circles, and it's only a matter of time before someone leaks it publicly. And once that clip goes viral, this entire story is going to explode even more. The moment Chrisean hit the floor, the entire room froze as if time stopped. Even the people who had been screaming a second earlier went silent. Chrisean isn't someone people ever imagine being taken down. She's strong, emotional, explosive, and usually the one charging forward. So seeing her on the ground, dazed, was something nobody expected, not even Jaidyn. Chrisean stayed down for a few seconds, blinking hard, trying to regain focus. Witnesses say she looked confused at first, like she couldn't process what had just happened. Her breathing was heavy, her hands were shaking, and tears were gathering in her eyes. Whether from pain, shock, or pure rage, nobody could tell. But what everyone did know was that this moment wasn't over. Not even close. People rushed toward Chrisean, not just to help her up, but to keep her from launching herself right back into another fight. One friend grabbed her arm, another held her shoulder, begging her to calm down. But Chrisean's mind wasn't in a calm place. The second she realized what had happened, her expression changed from stunned to furious. She tried to get up, but her legs were unsteady, and the people holding her kept telling her, "Don't move. Just chill. Please." And that only made her angrier. She started yelling, her voice cracking. "She hit me. She hit me." It echoed through the room. Meanwhile, on the other side of the chaos, Jaden was being pulled backwards by two people while Blueface's mom held onto her arm, crying and shaking. But Jaden wasn't backing down emotionally. Even with people restraining her, she kept yelling over everyone. "She touched his mama. I don't care, she shouldn't have put her hands on his mama." Carlisa was feeding into that fire, still shouting about disrespect and how she had warned Blueface this girl was trouble. At this point, her emotions were completely raw fear, rage, shock, everything happening at once. She kept repeating, "Get her out of here. Get her out," in a cracking voice. But that set Chrisean off even further. She shot back, "You've been wanting me out. You've been hating me. Say it with your chest." The exchange reignited the argument even as both women were being held back physically. People inside the house said they genuinely feared this was about to turn into something way worse, not just a fight, but a full-on brawl. There were too many emotions, too much long-term resentment, too many old wounds being reopened all at once. Then, things took a sharp turn. Someone shouted, "Call Blue. Call Blue right now." That caused an immediate shift. Because everyone knew the second Blueface heard this, he was going to side with somebody, and whichever side he chose would change everything. If he defended Chrisean, Jaden would explode. If he defended his mom, Chrisean would go nuclear. No matter what, someone was about to feel betrayed. While people scrambled to call him, something unexpected happened. Chrisean started crying. Not the loud, dramatic crying she does online sometimes. This was quiet, shaky, vulnerable. She covered her face with her hands, pulled her knees close, and kept saying, "I shouldn't even be here. I shouldn't even have come." The anger was still there, but beneath it was something deeper, hurt. Exhaustion. A feeling of being ganged up on. One of her friends sat on the floor next to her, wrapping an arm around her shoulder, whispering, "Come on, let's go. This ain't worth it. Let's go home." But Chrisean wasn't ready to leave. She kept glancing at Jaden with this burning mixture of fury and disappointment, like she couldn't believe she'd let herself walk into a situation where everyone was against her. Across the room, Jaden's anger was shifting too. After the initial rage passed and she saw Chrisean crying on the floor, even SHE looked conflicted. Witnesses say she wasn't proud of what happened, she just felt like she had no choice. She loves Blueface's mom deeply, and seeing her shaken triggered her instincts. But once the adrenaline faded, Jaden looked emotionally drained, pacing back and forth, rubbing her forehead, muttering, "This is too much. This is too damn much." Then came the next twist. The person who had recorded part of the fight stepped out of the room, and people immediately panicked. Because once a clip leaves the room, you have no control over where it goes. And the people closest to the situation knew exactly what that meant. A viral explosion was coming. Everyone scrambled to figure out who had the phone, what angle they recorded, and whether they would use it. But it was too late. The damage was done. When the call finally connected and Blueface heard the panic in the room, the entire energy shifted again. Everyone went quiet, like they were suddenly afraid of what his reaction might be. And honestly, they had every reason to be scared because Blueface is unpredictable. Sometimes he defends Chrisean. Sometimes he rides for Jaden. Sometimes he sides with his mom. And other times, he watches the drama like a fan in the audience. But this time, he wasn't amused. At all. When someone yelled into the phone, "She hit your mama," Blueface snapped instantly. "Who? The volume in his voice alone made people flinch. Before anyone could answer properly, another voice jumped in yelling, "Chrisean." And just like that, his anger redirected. Blueface started going off on the phone about how he told people not to let certain energy around his family, how he didn't want any fights, and how everyone in that house knows better. His tone wasn't calm. It wasn't controlled. It was sharp, irritated, and fed up. But here's the twist, someone else in the room shouted back. She didn't hit her. They were arguing. She pushed her, and Jaden hit her. This is where everything spiraled again. Blueface, now confused, said, "What you mean Jaden hit her? Where's Jaden?" And that question alone made the room snap into silence. Everyone looked at Jaidyn. Her chin was up, her breathing heavy, her eyes red with anger. Someone handed her the phone, and the second she said, "Hello," the tone changed. Witnesses say Blueface immediately softened, not completely, but enough to show the difference in how he talks to her. Jaden explained everything fast, emotional, and heated. That Chrisean put her hands on his mother. That she had no choice but to defend her. That she wasn't going to let anyone disrespect his family. And here's what shocked people: Blueface didn't yell. Instead, he said something like, "I get it, but you can't be fighting her. Y'all making stuff worse." That one line set off another emotional explosion. Carlisa started shouting in the background, "Don't defend her. She attacked me." Someone else yelled, "She didn't attack you. She reacted." Meanwhile, Chrisean, sitting on the floor with tears streaming down her face, muttered, "I can't believe this man." Then Blueface asked the question that made Chrisean snap her head up. "Where Rock at? Put her on the phone." Nobody wanted to hand her the phone, partly because she was still shaking, partly because they didn't know what she was going to say. But she wiped her face, swallowed hard, and said, "Give me the phone." The moment she put it to her ear, she didn't yell. She didn't scream. She didn't attack. She said, in a broken voice, "You let them do this to me." Silence. Everyone in the room felt that line. Blueface sighed, frustrated, overwhelmed, and caught between three women who all expect loyalty from him. Witnesses say he tried to calm her down, saying things like, "It's too much drama, and ain't nobody supposed to be fighting," but Chrisean wasn't hearing it. She kept repeating, "Your mama came at me. Your BM hit me. And you not saying nothing." Jaden, hearing that from across the room, fired back loudly. "Girl, you put your hands on his MOM. Stop lying." That restarted the shouting, screaming, and finger-pointing all over again, but Chrisean wasn't yelling this time. She was shaking her head, looking at the floor, whispering, "I shouldn't have come. I knew it." You could see the crack in her. She wasn't angry anymore. She was hurt. Deeply hurt. Not because of the punch, not because of the disrespect, but because she felt alone. Outnumbered. Unprotected. Blueface, frustrated and unable to calm the situation through the phone, finally said something that made everyone pause. "I'm on my way." That sentence sent a ripple of tension through the entire house. Jaden froze. Carlisa gasped, saying she didn't want him coming into this mess. Chrisean wiped her face quickly, trying to pull herself together. People started moving around, cleaning up, breathing hard, trying to prepare for his arrival. And then, right in the middle of the chaos, someone said the words that made everyone's stomach drop. The clip is already out. Silence. A deadly, heavy silence. Someone had already posted the recording to a close friend's IG story, and within minutes it was being screen recorded, shared in group chats, and reposted on burner pages. The fight wasn't just in that house anymore. It was online, and nobody could stop what was coming next. No fight in 2025 is truly over until it hits social media, and the moment someone leaked the clip of Chrisean and Jaden's confrontation, the internet lost it. Within minutes, the short video showing Chrisean hitting the floor and Jaden stepping in to protect Blueface's mom was circulating across Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Comments started pouring in from every angle, some defending Chrisean, some defending Jaden, and many just watching for the drama. Screenshots ready to share in group chats. The first wave of reactions came from fans of Chrisean. Many were outraged. She got knocked down? That's disrespectful, and Jaden went too far were repeated across Twitter feeds and IG comments. Clips of Chrisean from past arguments were pulled up to justify her behavior, making some fans argue she was only defending herself. People who followed Chrisean's online antics knew she doesn't back down easily, and seeing her get physically subdued struck a chord. Then came Jaden's supporters. They flooded the comment sections defending her actions, saying she had no choice but to step in. Some argued that loyalty to Blueface mom was everything and defending family was never wrong. Others shared screenshots of Carlisa calling Chrisean messy or disrespectful in previous posts, emphasizing that this wasn't a new issue, it was years of tension finally exploding. But the real chaos came from neutral observers, those who didn't follow the drama closely but saw the viral clip. They couldn't believe the intensity. Many remarked on how chaotic and raw the situation was. "This is too much. I can't believe grown women are doing this over Instagram receipts, and imagine being Blueface right now." Memes started forming immediately, reaction videos popped up, and influencer commentary began to roll in, making it feel like the drama had multiplied overnight. Another layer of chaos came from people speculating about Blueface involvement. Some users questioned why he wasn't there to intervene sooner, accusing him of favoritism or negligence. Others debated whether he would take sides, and if so, whose side. This created an entirely new narrative online, not just about the fight, but about Blueface loyalty, judgment, and relationship dynamics with both women. Hashtags began trending in microcircles. Hashtag Chrisean vs. Jaden, hashtag Blueface drama, hashtag family feud, and hashtag disrespect alert. Even celebrities and influencers jumped in with commentary. A few posts subtly compared the drama to previous Blueface-related incidents, while others outright mocked the intensity of the fight. Some even speculated about legal consequences or whether anyone might press charges, bringing another level of tension to an already heated situation. Meanwhile, Chrisean and Jaden themselves were under pressure. Both had to navigate public perception while dealing with the real-life emotional aftermath. Every notification, comment, or repost made the situation more intense. Chrisean reportedly posted vague, cryptic messages online, while Jaden shared clips defending her actions as protecting family. Both were aware that the internet wasn't just watching, they were forming opinions, taking sides, and waiting for the next move. As the hours passed, more videos emerged, snippets showing Chrisean arguing, the shove, Jaden's punch, and Carlissa's reactions. Each clip added fuel to the fire. People dissected every angle, every word, every movement, debating who was right or wrong. Forums and fan pages exploded with theories, and the drama quickly became bigger than the house it started in. By the end of the night, one thing was clear: this wasn't just a personal conflict anymore. It had become a full-blown public spectacle. The world was watching, screenshots were being saved, and every social media platform was buzzing with opinions. What had started as a family argument over respect had now transformed into a viral moment defining the relationships of Chrisean, Jaden, and Blueface for months to come. Once the clips went viral and the world had its say, the real drama shifted behind closed doors. Public perception is one thing, but how Chrisean, Jaden, Blueface, and his mom dealt with the aftermath privately was a whole other level of chaos. Sources close to the situation say that after the viral storm, tensions in the house didn't calm, they intensified. Everyone was emotionally raw, defensive, and bracing for confrontation in ways that couldn't be solved with social media posts. Chrisean reportedly spent hours in her room replaying what happened, analyzing every moment. She questioned herself. Was she in the wrong? Could she have reacted differently? Her friends say she was furious, but also deeply hurt. Being knocked down by Jaden in front of Blueface mom was not just physically shocking, it was a blow to her pride. She felt humiliated, misunderstood, and isolated, realizing that the fight was no longer just about respect, it had become about public image. And in Chrisean's world, image is everything. Meanwhile, Jaden was also struggling to process what happened. Friends describe her as emotionally drained but unwavering. She believed she did the right thing, yet part of her wondered if things could have been handled differently. After all, while she defended Blueface's mom, she also knew the fight could have had bigger consequences, especially with cameras rolling and social media waiting to dissect every angle. Jaidyn reportedly had several conversations with Blueface's mom, reassuring her that she would always protect the family, but also expressing concern about the escalating feud with Chrisean. Blueface, caught in the middle, faced one of the most complicated emotional reckonings of his life. Sources say he felt torn between loyalty to his mother, his romantic history with Chrisean, and his complicated bond with Jaden. Every conversation he had involved careful navigation, trying to calm Chrisean without upsetting his mom, addressing Jaden's feelings without condoning the violence, and managing the online storm simultaneously. Friends say he spent hours on the phone, mediating, trying to prevent things from spiraling further. But at the same time, he couldn't ignore the fact that the clips were now public, leaving him in an impossible position. The family dynamic also took an emotional hit. Blueface's mom reportedly felt vindicated that Jaden stepped in, but she also worried about the public fallout. She knew social media would twist her words and actions, and she feared criticism for allowing the situation to escalate. Yet, seeing Chrisean on the floor triggered a mix of fear, anger, and frustration, the kind of emotional cocktail that makes rational decisions nearly impossible. Behind closed doors, alliances shifted subtly. Some friends and family members began siding more openly with either Chrisean or Jaden, creating microdrama within the inner circle. People took sides based on loyalty, past grievances, or personal biases. Friends close to Chrisean encouraged her to fight back publicly, not physically, but through posts, videos, or statements online. Those close to Jaden advised caution, but emphasized standing her ground in defending the family. These differing strategies added another layer of complexity to an already chaotic emotional landscape. Another key factor was the discussion about accountability. While Chrisean admitted to friends that she may have escalated the situation, she also emphasized that she was provoked and disrespected. Jaden, on the other hand, maintained that her actions were purely defensive and necessary. This difference in perception made reconciliation almost impossible in the immediate aftermath. As the night wore on, tension and emotions remained high. Private conversations turned into heated debates, arguments resurfaced in whispered tones, and everyone braced for the next public reaction. The viral clips ensured that neither Chrisean nor Jaden could retreat from the spotlight. The world was watching, and every move would now be scrutinized. The day after the viral clips surfaced, the tension had shifted from the immediate fight to the long-term consequences. Social media chatter was relentless, and every new comment, meme, or repost added layers of pressure on Chrisean, Jaden, and Blueface. The fight was no longer just a private matter. It had become a defining moment for everyone involved. Chrisean's reputation took an immediate hit. While some fans sympathized, many saw the clip and interpreted her as reckless or aggressive. Online, people were debating if she deserved the punch, spreading opinions across Twitter threads, TikTok videos, and Instagram story reactions. Influencers weighed in, posting reaction videos and commentary, further amplifying the situation. Chrisean reportedly felt humiliated, frustrated, and cornered. She knew her image as a strong, unbothered figure was under attack, and she began crafting posts to address the situation indirectly, hinting at loyalty, betrayal, and respect. Jaden's reputation, meanwhile, received mixed reactions. Some praised her for defending Blueface's mom, framing her as the loyal, protective figure who wouldn't let disrespect slide. Others criticized her for resorting to violence, questioning whether her actions escalated the situation unnecessarily. This polarized response added pressure, forcing Jaidyn to carefully navigate her public statements. Friends and advisors suggested emphasizing that she acted out of defense and protection rather than aggression. Blueface, stuck in the middle, had the most complex public position. Fans were divided over whether he should support Chrisean, defend his mom, or mediate fairly. Every post he made, every comment he liked, and every story he shared was scrutinized for hidden messages. People analyzed his facial expressions in past videos, trying to figure out where his loyalty lay. Friends reported that he felt immense pressure, knowing that one wrong move could alienate fans, create more drama, or even worsen relationships with either woman. Meanwhile, private dynamics shifted significantly. Chrisean and Jaden, already tense, now faced the challenge of navigating a public feud that could define their interactions for months. Attempts to reconcile were complicated by pride, emotions, and the lingering effects of the physical confrontation. Sources say that both women were aware that social media amplified every word, gesture, and expression, making private resolution more difficult than ever. The fight also had ripple effects across their shared social circles. Friends, family, and mutual acquaintances found themselves taking sides, sometimes subtly, sometimes openly. Those who stayed neutral reported feeling trapped in the crossfire, avoiding conversations, and limiting their online presence to prevent accidental association. Meanwhile, some people capitalized on the chaos, posting clips, screenshots, or commentary for views, likes, or personal influence, further fueling the viral storm. Legal concerns began to surface as well. Even though nobody called the police immediately, insiders suggested that the physical nature of the altercation could be scrutinized later. Questions about assault, liability, and accountability were discussed privately among friends and advisors. While no formal actions were taken at that time, the potential for legal consequences added another layer of stress for Chrisean, Jaden, and Blueface. Beyond reputation and social media, the fight also affected relationships. The trust between Chrisean and Blueface family was severely damaged. Even minor interactions became tense, and attempts at reconciliation required careful planning. Similarly, Jaden's relationship with Chrisean shifted from rivalry to a complicated mixture of respect, fear, and caution. Blueface's role as mediator became increasingly difficult, as balancing loyalty to both women while managing his mother's expectations felt nearly impossible. Finally, the public impact was undeniable. The incident became a talking point for content creators, YouTubers, TikTok commentators, and gossip blogs. Clips were edited, memes were made, and the story gained traction far beyond the initial house where it occurred. Everyone involved had to consider not just their personal feelings, but how the world perceived them, a challenge that would continue for months, if not years. By the end of Part 8, it was clear. The fight wasn't just a moment of chaos. It was a turning point. It redefined reputations, tested relationships, and created a viral storm that would shape the dynamics between Chrisean, Jaden, Blueface, and his mom for the foreseeable future. The lesson was obvious. In the world of celebrity drama, private disputes rarely stay private, and one explosive moment can have long-lasting consequences. And that's the full story of how a heated argument turned into a viral moment that shook Chrisean, Jaden, Blueface, and his mom to their core. But now we want to hear from you. What do you think about this entire situation? Was Chrisean in the wrong for reacting the way she did, or was Jaden right to step in and defend Blueface's mom? Do you think Blueface handled it the way he should have, or did he make things even messier by staying out of the fight for too long? We love breaking down every detail of celebrity drama, and your opinion is just as important as the story itself. So drop your thoughts in the comments below, don't hold back. Tell us who you think came out on top, and whether you'd have handled this situation differently if you were in their shoes. The internet is buzzing, and your take might even start the next big conversation. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps us bring you the latest, juiciest celebrity stories as they happen. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update from the world of Chrisean, Jaden, Blueface, and more. Finally, share this video with friends who love celebrity drama. The more people weighing in, the hotter the conversation gets. This story isn't over yet, and the next update could come at any time. Stay tuned, stay involved, and keep your opinions loud, because in celebrity drama, your voice matters just as much as theirs.